ध्यायेद्धेवं समग्राङ्गं यावन्न चवते मनः कीर्तन्यतीर्थयशसं पुण्यश्लोकयशस्करं ध्यायेद्देवं समग्राङ्गं यावन्न चवते मनः कीर्तन्यतीर्थयशसं पुण्यश्लोकयशस्करं ध्यायेद्धेवं समग्राङ्गं यावन्न चवते मनः. Synonyms: Kirtanya, worth singing; Tirtha Yashasham, the glories of the Lord; Punya Sloka, of the devotees; Yasha Karam, enhancing the glory; Dhyayet, one should meditate; Devam, upon the Lord; Samagra Angam, all the limbs; Yavat, as much as; Na, not; Chavate, deviates; Manaha, the mind. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: The glory of the Lord is always worth singing, for his glories enhance the glories of his devotees. One should therefore meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead and upon his devotees. One should meditate on the eternal form of the Lord until the mind becomes fixed. Purport: One has to fix his mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. When one is accustomed to the thinking of one of the innumerable forms of the Lord, Krishna, Vishnu, Rama, Narayana, etc., he has reached the perfection of yoga. This is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. A person who has developed pure love for the Lord and whose eyes are smeared with the ointment of transcendental loving exchange always sees within his heart the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotees especially see the Lord in the beautiful blackish form of Shamasundara. That is the perfection of the yoga. This yoga system should be continued until the mind does not vacillate for a moment. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suraya. The form of Vishnu is the highest individuality and is always visible to sages and saintly persons. The same purpose is served when a devotee worships the form of the Lord in the temple. Therefore, there is no difference between devotional service in the temple and meditation on the form of the Lord, since the form of the Lord is same whether he appears within the mind or in some concrete element. There are eight kinds of forms. There are eight kinds of forms recommended for the devotees to see. The forms may be made of sand, clay, wood, or stone. They may be contemplated within the mind or made of jewels, metal, or painted colors. But all the forms are of the same value. It is not that one who meditates on the form within the mind sees differently from one who worships the form in the temple. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is absolute, and there is therefore no difference between the two. The impersonalists who desire to disregard the eternal form of the Lord imagine some round figure. They especially prefer the Omkara, which also has form. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that Omkara is a letter form of the Lord. Similarly, there are statue forms and painting forms of the Lord. Another significant word in this verse is Punya Shloka Yashashkaram. The devotee is called Punya Shloka. As one becomes purified by chanting the holy name of the Lord, so one can become purified simply by chanting the name of a holy devotee. The pure devotee of the Lord and the Lord Himself are non-different. It is sometimes feasible to chant the name of a holy devotee. This is very sanctified process. Lord Chaitanya was once chanting the holy names of the gopis when his students criticized him. Why are you chanting the names of gopis? Why not Krishna? Lord Chaitanya was irritated by the criticism, and there was some misunderstanding between him and his students. He wanted to chastise them for desiring to instruct him on the transcendental process of chanting. The beauty of the Lord is that the devotees who are connected with his activities are also glorified. Arjuna, Prahlada, Janaka Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, and many other devotees were not even in the renounced order of life, but were householders. Some of them, such as Prahlad Maharaj and Balay Maharaj, were born of demoniac families. Prahlad Maharaj's father was a demon, and Balay Maharaj was a grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, but still they have become famous because of their association with the Lord. Anyone who is eternally associated with the Lord is glorified with the Lord. The conclusion is that a perfect yogi should always be accustomed to seeing the form of the Lord, and unless the mind is fixed in that way, he should continue practicing yoga. Om अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are in this section where Kapaladev is giving instructions to his mother Devahuti, and in this chapter especially, Lord is glorifying the um, process of devotional service. And in this 28th chapter is specifically dedicated to the process of Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is also another one of the processes, bona fide processes to get liberated or to get the mercy of the Lord. So in this chapter, we have seen since the first verse of this chapter, um, Kapiladev is instructing Mother Devati about the process on different steps, 8 steps, right? So in the beginning from the verse 1, he's talking about yama, niyama, um, asana, yeah, pranayama, dharana, dhyana. So all these processes, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So these eight processes or steps have been explained in detail. So if you want a um, detailed version of how to follow the Ashtanga Yoga in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6 was defined, like mentioned by, Lord spoke about this yoga system in the chapter 6. Here, Kapila Dev is elaborating on each and every step with multiple verses, right? So, this section, what we're talking today, the verses from verse 13 to verse 18, 18th is the last verse in this section where Kapila Dev is stressing upon the dharana process, right? We have seen yama niyamas, we have seen the asanas, we have seen the pratyahara, we have seen we also have seen pranayama and pratyahara. Now, in this section from verses 13 to 18, Lord is specifying about how to Hare Krishna. Yeah, how to meditate upon the what is the process, what is the meditation dharana process in this Ashtanga yoga. Then comes the dhyana. Next verse itself starts dhyana yoga, um, where you go in detail of how to. It's a detailed meditation process.
Move, 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 Pixie, move. Good girl.
Yeah.
So can everybody mute their lines?
Okay. So in this this is the last verse in the dharana process, and what um, Kapil Dev is saying here is that kirtanya tirtha yashasham पुण्यश्लोक यशस्करम ध्यायेत् देवं समग्रांगम यावन्ना chavate manaha. So Kapil Dev is saying that the glory of the Lord is worth singing. So when we glorify the Lord, and also yashashkaram, punyashloka yashashkaram is an important word here. He's saying that punyashloka is a devotee. Who is the Lord then? There is some word with sloka for the Lord himself. Lord is called as Uttama Shloka. and devotee is called as Punya Shloka. So why the Lord is called as Uttama Shloka? Because all the Uttama are the best verses of the scriptures define or glorify the Lord, right? That's why he's Uttama Shloka. Because the devotee always sings the glories of the Lord, and that's how he eradicates the sins of himself, right? Or a devotee's sins are cleared, or sins are eradicated just because he performs the devotion service. That's why he is Punya Sloka. All the um, his Punya Shloka, and Uttama Shloka is God. So now when the Lord is glorified, it's similar, and also the devotees can also be glorified. So that's what he's saying, that so the glory of the Lord is always worth singing, for his glories enhance the glories of his devotees. So let's say if you take a pastime of Prahlad Maharaj, right? Prahlad Maharaj was always meditating upon the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj was put into different situations at different times. His father is a demon, and he was put into multiple problematic scenarios, but he was always remembering and meditating upon the Lord. So that's why he is glorified as the Acharya of Smaranam, Vishnu Smaranam, when we say the Navada Bhakti, right? In Navada Bhakti, the third one is Vishnu Smaranam. Vishnu Smaranam, Prahlad Maharaj was glorified for Vishnu Smaranam because he was always meditating upon the Lord. So when we say, or when we talk about the pastime of the Lord anytime, that includes so many devotees, so many glorification of the devotees, right? So this is what it's saying. Punya shloka yashashkaram. So kirtanya tirtha yashasham. Um, the Lord's glories should be Lord's pastimes should be glorified, or um, Lord's glories are worth singing. Okay, and the devotees that will enhance the devotees also. So when we say Lord was Parthasarathi, right? What are we saying? We are saying that Lord, we are glorifying the Lord, or we are thinking the Lord as the charioteer for his devotee Arjuna, right? So that's how the devotees will also get glorified. Dhyayat Devam Samagrangam Yavanna Chaveti Manaha. So how should we meditate upon the Lord is being given here. So one should therefore meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead and upon his devotees also. One should meditate on the eternal form of the Lord until the mind becomes fixed. So why are we meditating upon the Lord or his devotees, or glorifying or singing these devotees of the Lord? Why? Because the ultimate goal is to make the mind fixed. Mind is very hard to control, and in Bhagavad Gita also Arjuna mentions that mind is impossible to control, and so what mind has to be fixed on the meditation process. The mind, to fix the mind in the meditation, so we have to think so much so that our mind gets fixed to the Lord. So what happens with that process, like we have seen when the gopis were perturbed by the appearance of Arishtasur, right? Arishtasur was trying to chase them, or trying they were threatened with the Arishtasur's presence there. So they found the Kadamba trees, and the Kadamba tree was exactly like, no, not Kadamba, Tamala trees, and they were exactly like they were in blackish color. So they embraced gopis embraced the those trees, thinking that that is Krishna. So when we think about Krishna, when we meditate about the Lord, when we we talked about the examples, right? Prahlad Maharaj, gopis. Um, when we meditate upon the Lord, we get so much used to that meditation. We start seeing the Lord everywhere. Okay, so is does that mean, is there any limitation of meditation? Like, do we can we only meditate upon the on the deity form of the Lord? No, Srila Prabhupada mentions there are eight bona fide. There are eight kinds of forms recommended for devotees to see. What are those forms? The forms made up of out of sand. Okay, the forms made up out of clay, wood, like wood. We see Jagannath ji, is carved with the wood, and or stone, like any deities, any Krishna deities, they carved in stone, and we have and they may be contemplated within the mind. So this is also one of the forms. We can also out of it, with contemplation is also equivalent to meditating upon the deity form of the Lord. Okay, so that is one thing. And made up of jewels or metal. So we have Radha Damodar temple. Radha Damodar deities are our Chota Radha Shamsundar deities. They're all made of metal and painted colors. Basically, some deity paintings also can be meditated upon. But all forms are of the same value. So no matter where or which form we meditate upon, they're all of the same value. There is no difference. It is not that one who meditates on the form within the mind sees differently from one who worships the form in the temple. So you worship the form in the temple, you worship the form in the Lord. Like in the mind, it's proper saying if it is um, with that intention, with that depth, then there is no difference between those two. Like meditating upon the form in the mind and meditating upon the deity form or performing a devotion service, they don't have any difference. Okay, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is absolute, and there is therefore no difference between the two. Why there is no difference? Because some I heard that um, the Lord appeared in the dream is also authentic, and because Lord is absolute. So it's not like um, sometimes we say that the dreams are useless and we cannot rely on the dreams. Yeah, that's true. But when the Lord appears in the dreams, because Lord is absolute, the dream is also true, or the dream must be absolute also. Okay, so that's one thing. The impersonalists who desire to disregard the eternal form of the Lord imagine some round figure. So in dharana stage, there are different people have different dharana. Dharana means accepting something, meditating upon something. So in this dharana stage, when a yogi is standing there, if a yogi is in the Ashtanga yoga, he'll have two forms he can meditate upon. The first form is the super soul, or the supreme personality of God himself, and the second form is he will meditate upon the universal form of the Lord. So when they meditate upon meditates upon the universal form of the Lord, he is the one who has still have some desires or still have some connections with this material world, right? And um, they have a different process to get liberation. They get liberated, but they have to go through multiple, or they have to go to different planetary systems, higher planetary systems before they get liberated. But the one who is meditating upon the super soul, or who is meditating upon the Lord himself, they have a different process. They have direct the previous one where the devotee is meditating upon the universal form. It is called as krama mukti, right? So they go in a sequence. They go into one stage after another stage, one planet after another planet, and they higher planets, and they go liberated from there, from Satyaloka, and they get liberated from there. But when it comes to the one who is a devotee of the Lord, and who is meditating upon the super soul, they get liberated directly. So that's one extra point. But some devotees who are following the who are in the impersonalists, are the ones who doesn't believe in the form of the Lord, right? They meditate upon the Omkara, or the circle. Prabhupada says that a circle, and in the circle you see that in a circle there is Om structure. Srila Prabhupada mentions that is also Om is also the form of the Lord, right? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that in Om represents me. So so they prefer on that. And in Bhagavad Gita, it is stated Omkara is a letter form of the Lord, letter form. Like similarly, there are statue forms and painting forms of the Lord. Okay. So another significant word in this verse is Punyashloka Shashkaram. We talked about it. The devotee is called Punyashloka. As one becomes purified by chanting the holy name of the Lord, so one can become purified simply by chanting the name of holy devotee. So now this is a big statement here. So he's saying that we can meditate upon the Lord. Okay, that's one thing. Now the other statement here is that can someone get purified by chanting the name of a devotee? So one can become purified simply by chanting the name of a holy devotee, holy devotee. The pure devotee of the Lord and the Lord himself are non-different. It's sometimes feasible to chant the name of a holy devotee. This is very sanctified process, right? What are the examples we have for this one? Okay. So we get purified by chanting the holy names of a devotee. Srila Prabhupada mentions about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu meditating or chanting the names of gopis. Okay. So those so many devotees, um, there are so many devotees who are very much dear to the Lord, like gopis, Lord Shiva, um, Arjuna, right? When you say Krishna, Lord has already killed everyone in the Kurukshetra war. He shows that in the universal form. Everyone was entering his mouths, and he saw Arjuna saw Dhanshram, like he saw the sharp teeth. Everyone is entering, and they get crushed inside the mouths of that universal form. So Lord has already done that job. Then why is he? Then why? What has he could have done? Meaning he has showed means he could have done the same thing by himself, but he didn't do that. Krishna didn't kill that personally. He engages his devotees. He engages his like Arjuna. He engaged Arjuna to perform that act. Right? Why? Because just to glorify the devotee. If if Krishna had to do Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that we'll have every town and village in this world will be singing the glories of Krishna or chanting the holy names of the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that, and after that there are many devotees who came. Or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could have by himself have done something, but he didn't do that. He said that um, I mean, yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that one devotee will come and he will distribute the names of the Lord all over the world. So that was glorified. Now that the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very much qualified to perform this activity. Or Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was also too much qualified to perform this activity because they already had connections with the Britishers and other devotees from sorry, the people from other parts of the world. They could have done it, but they didn't do it because devotee should be like Srila Prabhupada came and it was assigned to him, and he came and he has done that job what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already predicted or he mentioned. So what we are trying to say here is that Lord has so much of Lord has so much of potency. He could do anything by himself, but he doesn't do it just because he wanted to glorify his devotees. So Srila Prabhupada taking and chanting the holy names of Srila Prabhupada also um, can purify us. So that's one thing. Srila Prabhupada, holy devotees like Srila Prabhupada, gopis, Lord Shiva. So taking their names, Hanumanji, right? Hanumanji is very dear devotee of Rama. So all these are devotees of the Lord. So when we chant their names, um, when we think about them, when we meditate about Srila Prabhupada, we get purified. There is no doubt. So that's what, and Srila Prabhupada is strong in his statement. He sometimes um, Srila Prabhupada says here, saying with a sanctified process. This is a very sanctified process. Okay, and he gives a good example here of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanting the names of gopis. The beauty of the Lord is that devotees who are connected with his activities are also glorified. So that's what we talked, right? So Arjuna um, was glorified. Bhishmadev was glorified. Bhishmadev is a devotee of the Lord. Bali Maharaj was glorified. Prahlad Maharaj was glorified because he's a devotee of the Lord. They're exemplary in their devotion. Right, Dhruva Maharaj. Yeah, sorry, here it gives a list. Arjuna, Prahlada, Janaka Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, and many other devotees were not even in the renounced order of life. They're not, devotees means not only the sannyasis here. So they are not in the renounced order of life, but their grosthas, still they are glorified because of their devotion to the Lord. Some of them, such as Prahlad Maharaj and Balay Maharaj, were born of demoniac families. So Srila Prabhupada goes ahead one step ahead and tells that it doesn't matter if it's a grostha, and also it doesn't matter what kind of family background they have, right? It can be a demon, it can be anyone. Vitrasura is a demon, right? Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj are the demons. demon family. So they came from there, but they're still glorified. Okay. Um, and the statuses, the monetary status, our appearances doesn't even matter. Also, in that case, we can take the example of Sudama Vipra. He was not that opulent physically, or in the materially he was not opulent, but still we glorify him because he's the Lord and devotee of the Lord. Prahlada, Maharaj's father was demon. Okay, Bali Maharaj. Okay, but still they become famous because of their association with the Lord, because they are always meditating upon the Lord, always thinking about the Lord, always performing activities um, which are conducive for the devotional service, for their devotional service or for the devotional life. So that's why they are glorified. Anyone who is eternally associated with the Lord is glorified with the Lord. The conclusion is that a perfect yogi should always be accustomed to seeing the form of the Lord. Unless unless the mind is fixed in that way, he should continue practicing yoga. So it's the dharana stage. The idea is like we have to control the mind, and that controlling mind is not possible. So we have to fix our mind on something else instead of our mind fixing its own ways, instead of our mind taking its own path, right? We have to control our mind by fixing it on the Lord. So accustomed to seeing the form of the Lord, and unless the mind is fixed in that way, he should continue practicing. If that is not there, then he has to go back to the previous stages or previous steps of Ashtanga Yoga and start continuing or practicing the Lord. And we have such a nice opportunity also in ICNJ. We have Lord Sri Radha Shamsundarji, Sri Jagannath, Baladev, Subramai, Gornitai, right? You go there, just take darshan closely. No, it doesn't have to be like, you pay obeisances and run away. You don't even know if the deity is there or not. It's not the right process is like watch the Lord limb by limb. Start from the lotus feet of the Lord. Um, Go to the shins and sorry, yeah, middle part of the Lord, and chest and face and hands and everything. There is a process. You have to watch the Lord carefully. That is devotional process. That's also a devotional process. It's not just paying obeisances, and paying obeisances is also good, but paying obeisances with the presence of mind, right? With the presence of mind, with the presence of with watching the Lord is also a meditation, right? So this is what this verse says here. Kirtanya Tirtha Yashasham Punyashloka Yashashkaram Jaya Devam Samagrangam Yavanna Chavate Manaha. So um, one should meditate on the eternal form of the Lord until the mind becomes fixed. So that is the verse today. Next verse starts from next verse. Will The dhyana process will be explained in detail, like how to perform the meditation, how to watch the Lord. It's beautiful verses. All these verses are beautiful, starting from 13th verse, and 19th is especially a good one. So I'll leave it here. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah, thank you, Hare Krishna. We'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day and weekend ahead. We would like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare.
Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Jai Nrsimha, Praladesha, Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringam. Ugravira Mahavishnu Tamo Nrsimham Vishanam Bhadram Nityam Nityam Namyam.
Amen.
Nrsimha Bhagwan ki jai, Prahlad
Jai,
Maharaj ki jai.
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 Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the Simul Vaishnavas of the Lord. Vanchakalpatarubhaya
Vanchakalpatarubhasya
Srivaya
Sindhubhave
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय,
की
श्रीमद्
जय,
प्रभुपाद
जय
की
की
जय।
जय।
गुड
जय
डे
जय।
नमस्ते।
हरि हरि हरि
हरि
बोल।
हरि बोल। थैंक यू हरि कृष्ण
थैंक
प्रभु।
यू एवरीबॉडी।
वंडरफुल
हरि
पास्टर।
बोल।